But to get this dialogo de saberes to start, we want to hear first from Sinomar Fonseca. He's a UF graduate student from Brazil. He's taking a brief break from writing the final, dotting the I's and crossing the T's of his dissertation, which is about to hand in. And he's going to share a literature review and analysis that a student working group has produced over the past semester or so. And the idea is to advance our understanding of the conceptual basis for biocultural conservation, and also focus on how you can implement biocultural conservation. So we'll start with this working group perspective from our student group and the UF TCD group, and then move into field museums, practice, and on-the-ground experience. Okay, so with that, pass it to Sinomar.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon. So Bob, could you put the figure that you
I can do that. Yeah.
That you asked me. So yeah, as Bob said, I hope the end phase of this dissertation I'm writing. So, and basically while Bob is picking up a figure that we kind of came up as a result and of not just the literature review, but of discussion, but the literature review influenced a lot in the theory of change of the biocultural conservation that we are work on. So I think it's good to have this picture in front of you. So first, I want to acknowledge the group. It's this product. It's a student group, so many of them are here in this talking. So I'm just making this voice, yeah, this collaborative work that we did, and we have some to do. So, and I'm trying to use the figure kind of guide my talking, and forgive me in case I'm jump in some points without like a deeper discussion about the results, but I try to be as possible direct to contribute in this discussion, so that Paula can actually bring to us more this actions, practice, so and implementation, no activities. So that's we are here to hear from her, and of course improve our knowledge about that. So I made outline here, and basically I wanna frame like this strategy more broad, and say about the fundamental premise. And after that, I'll enter in the literature itself and go for key points and basically the sites and actors involved, and try to kind of bring some of the outcomes or the problems involved, and try to finalize in what you have in front of you as some limiting factors that came up and enabling conditions that I'm trying to do in this presentation. So, and just first that we got this literature review based on as others in keywords seeking for actions, activities, practice, implementation, because the literature review about biocultural conservation, of course they have, but they are really into the conceptual part, and we really found that the missing parts are on the implementations. And I'm not going into that because I think we have many people here that wrote about this. But as fundamental premise, I would say that we have even as the concept of biocultural is this interdependence that I would say it's not bioculture, but I want to frame like biophysical. And if you look for in front of you, I would say that's like the conservation of forests and rivers in a sense, this biophysical, of course, can be much more, and the interdependence of the cultural diversity that we have included the word ethno diversity respect. Yeah, and I'll get you into more the of course this ethno diversity part, and I would say that the target this effective conservation requires no that we integrate strategies across these two big helms. Yeah, it's a big challenge. Yeah, and of course the cultural helm it's huge also about the knowledge systems and spirituality, so language. And also one fundamental premise that we got, and it's kind of left side, yeah, it's the indigenous agents empowerment. So basically, what we have like the PLC, we can have another acronyms, but local communities with their sovereignty, their territory, yeah, and they have this strong sense, of course, not just the identity, so self-determination, but they are the key protagonists. So based on that, I would say that this more came up from our literature review was that the strategies that emerge for the implementation, the practice. So the indigenous ages empowerment that I already said, they are in the left side. So the partnership and collaborations, very important. So transdisciplinary knowledge, rights and governance, and territorial management. So I'll kind of try to come with some of those results from the literature review that we got. Basically, we screened 73 papers focused in the previous 5 years. So from 2029 to 2023. So this is the time frame that we basically went through. So as I would say key elements. So we just start with some key words. I remember that we have like more than 100 terms associated with the word biocultural, and more this I think it's 120 something 22, and we have kind of 7, 8 that just appear on biocultural observation. So we can see that's very diverse. We have like diversity, heritage, other articles talk about these terms, but also we explore kind of the context and dimensions that associate with the research of biocultural conservation. So we came up with like 24 themes that unfold themselves to others. So they are big themes. And it's very interesting because we can see like words as place, yeah, that appears like emerge as first, as terms associate. Indigenous peoples, of course, but science, research, even like food systems, and other words that they are more kind of the mechanism, process. Just saying that we did kind of getting into the helm of this concept also. And I think it demonstrates for us like the inherent nature of biocultural conservation, yeah, to kind of rely in the interdisciplinary or frequently the transdisciplinary approach, yeah, that value kind of the holistic and inclusive perspective to the topic. So And that's we kind of have this transdisciplinary knowledge, because of course it's not, they recognize the Western framework knowledge as very important, and we saw that in our literature review, and we have some of the research here that talk about this kind of transdisciplinary knowledge, the importance of that. So talking about this, we basically cross the most common sites that we found in literature review. And Mexico, New Zealand, United States, India, and Brazil, they emerge as the more frequent sites of biocultural conservation. And it's also interesting that we just cross the conservation hotspots, and we can see most of them, the conservation hotspots, it's the large areas of endemic species, yeah, and of course they are under significant degradation, yeah, but they are kind of relay with each other. But what happened about the sites and some kind of key actors is that when we look at for long-term, for example, partnership and collaborations between research, so the publications and the indigenous peoples, we basically, in the 73 articles, we got like 22 papers that have this information for us. And New Zealand, United States, and Australia have the more co-authorship and long-term partnerships that we find in our papers. And for example, for United States and biocultural conservation, Hawaii represents 80% of this in United States of partnerships. And we have seen some endeavors and effort dedicates some publications in their language. It's especially with Maoris in New Zealand. So, but another interesting thing that came up in the the articles was that 58 cases, 80% has the indigenous peoples and local communities as the key actors, but the academia also, scientists, research, government. So it's kind of in NGOs, but we have another actors that came associated with biocultural conservation as visitors of protected areas, commissions. So yeah, I'll try to be more quickly. So and one of the main problems that we identified is associated with the separation between this biological realm, yeah, and the cultural aspect, especially in the research and conservation initiatives, yeah, projects, and policy. So basically, we have this root of problem that we found, like some colonial legacies, of course, have many layers and scales that can be associated for the way that the government act and influence environmental laws and influence in unequal resource management, for example, or even like the socioeconomic chains, how they can degrade some cultural aspects, and also giving laws and unfair situations for the management. And also these root problems, we also find like some limiting factors that we understood that kind of collaborate, yeah, in this. The limiting factors are here, but we found like 11 groups of limiting factors. I'll try to bring kind of 2-3 examples. And this group, for example, for governance conditions, we can see lack of recognition of customer tenure and rights, especially with these nation state levels. So it's very common. Or weak conservation policy, and even problems with finance. Also, we have like another scale, globalization, or that we encompasses limiting factors, but some infrastructure problems relate, yeah, oil, petroleum, some, of course, impacts that come from even climate change or food security. And also in the local level that we have laws of biodiversity or traditional ways of farming that came up, and even limiting factors about like traditional ecology knowledge. So concerns about the generations not revive or the cultural practice, yeah, or even loss of traditional knowledge, those holders, yeah, the olders or the elders that kind of need to create a space for that. So, and talking about some, so this is kind of the problems of outcomes, but similarly that we find is the one of the main desires was about the outcomes. It's having the bridge, yeah, to the gap that integrate place-based knowledge, culture, and stewardship, even in different levels, but in the broader system. And of course, this level of integration matter, and brought up like this term of place-based knowledge, yeah, to achieve conservation and be in an active or actively way collaboration to the local level. So
okay.
Okay, I'm trying to finish. So just saying that the place-based knowledge, culture, and practice needs to take account and think as solution and as active involvement, and it empower of course, and I think it's related to the figure, their rights and the ways that they manage. So just finalizing in terms of how important the sense of desired outcomes, we also get into some preconditional values that we are calling some values that they relate is important that appeared. And spirituality is one of them. So this diversity of cultural structure, beliefs, even afterlife matters in some as some conditional values, and even dates. So we have very interesting articles talking about this. And also we have like of course, tribal and indigenous worldviews. I think I don't need to even play some example, customary values, religion beliefs, and some that they that brought even like natural cycles. So following season and following like the blooming season that is important for them. Some cultures that for praying, chanting, medicine, and this is kind of getting into these worldviews and culture. And the last one just finalized for the enabling conditions that we got 9 categories, and again, traditional ecology knowledge, so followed for the indigenous practice, partnership and collaborations, I think is straightforward, rights is supporting biocultural conservation is straightforward. Capacity build is straightforward here. And even, of course, governance. But some other important point is that came from the literature review is some essential environment features of the native communities. I'm stopping. So basically matters to them as enabling factors, rivers, mountains, plants, and animals. I'm just kind of, these results come back to emphasize the importance of the topic. So yeah, sorry for the time, but
thank you, Sinomar. Yes, that's a lot to sum up in just a few minutes. But I think the important thing is that you highlighted was that while we position ourselves here, both museums and universities, as well as NGOs, supporting through partnership and knowledge, the work of indigenous communities, and that can lead to these results and larger scale impacts. So that will kind of be a bridge to the Field Museum's experience, where they are showing us how they are putting into practice, supporting and collaborating with local communities to have these broader impacts. So with that, I'll pass it on to Paola as the